You must have something, boys.
It's just $1.
Hey, don't you know about 10-10-220?
What?
Yeah, man, 10-10-220. All calls up to 20 minutes. 99 cents.
Just 7 cents a minute after that.
All calls up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents?
See, $1 is worth a lot.
I'm out.
Me too. I call you.
Do you have any fives?
Go fish.
Dial 10-10-220.
What helps create wireless home networks? Texas Instruments Programmable DSP. The hardware and software behind wireless technology. From the world leader in DSP and analog, Texas Instruments.
Now get the Wall Street Journal delivered for 8 weeks at just 37 cents a day, a 50% savings. Call now 800-255-6600. That's 800-255-6600 for the Wall Street Journal.
Three stars time. Third star, Matt Sundin, his 21st goal. The Leafs beat the Canucks 4-1. Barry's second star.
Ilya Kolnick of the New York Islanders. We don't get many of these this year. First 2-goal game of his career. Congratulations.
Beat the Flyers in overtime on Hammerlich's goal. And our first star, what Brandon Boyd is to Incubus, Dominic Hasek is to the Sabres. 53rd career shutout. He shuts out the Devils 1-0. Should NHL players wear visors? Please log on ESPN.com, go to the NHL page, answer the question, results on Friday. NHL tonight, Friday, me and Pang are in the His House for 2 shows, 11:30 ESPN2, 12:30 ESPN. Looks like Slava Fetisov will be
That's
named
good. That's great news.
general managership of the Russian Olympic team.
Excellent. He's a good man.
Have a Dead Marsh pickle puck.
I'll try one of these. Since you spilt it all over your suit opening it up.
Felix Potvin shut out the Flames. As we say goodbye, we're going to say look hi to Felix. How's him? Way to
Not
go,
bad
Deader.
pickles, Deader.
Good luck in L.A., Adam Deadmarsh.
They eat a lot of pickles in L.A.
See you Friday night. Those are good. Good with a fire.
NHL Tonight is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
The Flyers take the ice on Long Island in search of their 6th straight win overall against a team they have owned so far this season. If familiarity breeds contempt, then the New York Islanders must really be sick and tired of seeing the Philadelphia Flyers. For the 4th time in 9 games, the Islanders face their red-hot Atlantic Division rivals at a time when everything is going right for the Flyers and nothing good seems to be happening on the island. Any success tonight for the Islanders will take a huge effort from Butch Goring's squad. Well, the Islanders may be tired of seeing the Flyers, but that's the hand they've been dealt by the schedule maker, the red-hot Philadelphia Flyers, in town, an Atlantic Division matchup, taking on the New York Islanders. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Strader. Welcome once again to ESPN2's National Hockey Night. Yes, we have the Flyers on, but the focus tonight is not Eric Lindros. That situation for now very much on the back burner. We're going to focus instead on how well the Philadelphia Flyers are playing and take a look at the Eastern Conference standings. 32 wins, 74 points, just 2 points behind Ottawa for the overall lead in the conference in spite of all the turmoil that's happened around this team this season. Joined now by Darren Pang, and one of the areas of turmoil the last few years for the Philadelphia Flyers has been in goal, but that very much seems to be settled.
You mean because they've had 6 different starters in the playoffs?
That would be it.
In the last 6 years, this would be this year. Roman Cechmanek, though, has been such a pleasant surprise. But I don't know what they would do without the play of Roman because of how Brian Boucher really struggled in his sophomore year. A lot of goalies struggle in their sophomore year. But Roman Cechmanek has won 10 of his last 11 starts, and in this game against the New York Islanders, they've played 4 games. He's 4-0 against the New York Islanders, so he continues to excel, although come playoff time, there will still be question marks only because of his lack of playoff experience.
What's interesting about this matchup, the guy that was the mentor in Philadelphia last year for Boucher is the mentor on the island this season.
Boy, he's good like that, too. He's really changed his game around, his personality, his character in the locker room. He's taken the uncomfortable positions, and he's really put them to good use, really, for John Van Beesbroek at 37 years of age. He will get the start tonight, but the significance is that he is staying on the island at this particular point. He had a choice about a month ago. He was asked by Mike Milbury if he wanted to move to a contender. He chose to stay here. He liked the landscape. He's going to work with Rick DiPietro, and DiPietro has the makings of a star in the future.
Darren, there's a lot of hot lines in the National Hockey League, but not many hotter than the top line for the Philadelphia Flyers that is centered by big number 25, Keith Primo. Keith Primo will lead the Red Hot Flyers up against Mariusz Czerkawski and the New York Islanders coming up on National Hockey Night.
Oven toasting brings out the taste.
Quiznos subs are toasted for mouth-watering flavors. Try our smoked turkey sub. Quiznos, oven toasted, tastes better.
Obviously, this is top secret, or we wouldn't be here. Till next week, this meeting never happened.
This is go, no-go, folks.
Our product line's mesh, go.
Our growth, your cash flow,
go.
Finance is in.
The street will love it. The press will eat it up.
No SEC issues.
If we do this deal, we'll have 8 server farms, 10 extranets, and 10 different platforms, plus the wireless project.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
And that's when it hits you. You are so ready for IBM.
I want that money.
You want?
How much cash does it take?
Ow! Are you nuts? Probably.
To go 3,000 miles to Graceland. Rated R. Now playing.
All right, boys, last card.
I'm gonna raise you $1.
You must have something, boys.
It's just $1.
Hey, don't you know about 10-10-220?
What?
Yeah, man, 10-10-220. All calls up to 20 minutes, 99 cents.
Just 7 cents a minute after that.
All calls up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents?
See, $1 is worth a lot.
I'm out.
Me too. I call you.
Do you have any 5s?
Go fish.
Dial 1010-220.
22 games left for the Flyers, only 8 on the road. One of those tonight against the Islanders. John Butcher-Goss, Barry Melrose, of course, the talk of the hockey world. Rob Blake is now a Colorado Avalanche. But Barry, you say the best teams don't always win the Stanley Cup.
Well, that's why we can't give Colorado the Stanley Cup right now, even though obviously they're the most talented team in the NHL, because of the way the Philadelphia Flyers have played. They played the whole year without Eric Lindros, without John Leclerc, arguably their 2 best players, and right now they're playing the best hockey they've played as a team any time in the last 2 seasons. So talent is great, but it's character, it's courage, it's camaraderie, it's all those words that coaches like to use. That is the reason teams win the Stanley Cup, and that's what Philadelphia has right now. They got a good dressing room, and they like to play with each other.
And an easy schedule down the stretch. Half of their games against teams under 500, including tonight. Don't forget about this here hockey show, NHL Tonight. We're on after the Kings-Flames game, doubleheader night here on ESPN2. We'll talk about the Rob Blake trade. Should visors be mandatory? And Hasek meets the Devils. Hockey is next here on ESPN2. Game 1 of our doubleheader. Keith Primo leads the Flyers in points. He hopes to lead them to victory tonight.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you.
Mystic Music presents Bell Bottom Rock.
All I was born a rambling man. Sweet home Alabama. You can't see nothing yet.
Bell Bottom Rock has all those hard-to-find favorites from the early 70s. Crank it up! Order Bell Bottom Rock today. 2 cassettes only $19.95. 2 CDs only $24.95. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-836-4949 or send $19.95 for 2 cassettes or $24.95 for 2 CDs plus $4.95 shipping to Bell Bottom Rock, P.O. Box 1164-EZ, Monument, Colorado 80132.
A great tradition continues on ESPN2, Friday Night Fights. This week's main event, Jesus Chavez takes on Tom Johnson in a 12-round NABF Super Featherweight Championship battle. Friday Night Fights tonight at 9 on ESPN2.
ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night is brought to you by Land Rover. Come see what a Land Rover is made of. Land Rover, courage. By Quiznos, toasting makes it better. And by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the NHL and the NHLPA. Welcome inside the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum on a very snowy night here on Long Island. Dave Strader, Darren Pang, the rest of our National Hockey Night crew, Flyers and the Islanders. And I mentioned at the very top, the primo line along with Gagne and this guy, Mark Recchi, one of the hottest in the league right now.
I guess so. Last four, he's got 5 goals. 10 goals in his last 10 games. That's the most in a 10-game span since 1993 for the red-hot Mark Recchi and the Philadelphia Flyers. Playing like a team. They've epitomized what team play is all about ever since Billy Barber has really taken over this club. But it even starts before that. Last year, they went through so much adversity, of course, with Roger Nilsson and then with Craig Ramsey taking over this club. But they overcame that, and I think they're stronger for what happened last year.
Well, you heard Barry Melrose talk about how well this Flyer team is playing. And, yes, as good as the Avalanche were before the trade and how much better they are on paper after the deal getting Rob Blake, you certainly can't hand them the cup. There's a long ways to go and still other deals to be made before the trade deadline. And we're underway. 5th and final meeting of the regular season between these two teams. And the Philadelphia Flyers have won the previous 4 games, including 3 in the last 8 days. So these teams certainly very familiar with each other, and even with the Islanders struggling as they are, there is pride on the line, especially when you play a divisional opponent. You don't want to have the big goose egg up there in the season series. Here's Mario Strakowski as the top line. The Butch Goring is out there, but his pass anticipated and intercepted by Primo. Primo at center ice got some help from Simone Gagne, who dumped it deep into the Islander zone. Laid off the glass by Roman Hamrlik and back into the Flyer zone as the Islanders get 5 fresh skaters on the ice. Here is Scatchard with it for the Islanders. Failed to get it out of there. Linecout tried to send it back to the front of the net. Fedotenko and Tocchet went to the front of the net. A steal behind the net by Ruslan Fedotenko. Flyers have won 5 straight, coming off a win Monday against the Carolina Hurricanes. McGill is trying to hold this puck in. It's recovered by Billy McCult, but then he had it knocked away. Recovered again by the Islanders. Again, Lankow knocked it down, tried to dump it to the front of the net. Scatchard got a stick on it. And here come the Islanders the other way. Meze gets a shot away that deflected over the top of Czechmanek. Luke Richardson there defensively for the Flyers. Couldn't move it out. Now it's recovered by Lankow, and Damon Lankow for the Flyers. He'll get it to the red line and look just to get it deep as the Flyers will make changes.
Dave, that was a rough shift for the #1 line of the New York Islanders, the Dave Scatchard line. He has been such a consistent player. Twice on that same shift, Dave Scatchard caught the puck inside his own zone, and it caused the New York Islanders to be reeling in their defensive zone.
Chris Carrion back to pick it up now for the Flyers. Sikora, who was in the lineup tonight. Bill Barber making a couple of adjustments, getting some playing time for Michael Sikora on defense. Simone Gagne incidentally missed the game Monday against Carolina with some minor back problems, but he is in the lineup tonight. Here is Sikora out near the line, walks up, fakes the shot, slides it across. Now his partner Carrion, tough angle drive, and the veteran Van Beesbrook right there to make the stop.
Refreshing as a mountain stream. Head for the mountains of Busch beer.
Who's your friend, Mark?
He's a venture capitalist.
Oh, you still trying to trademark the .and .com?
Okay, if I can get just a little investment from you, this is a go.
I'll take that as a yes. Mom, I gotta send an email here. I need an upgrade.
You need a data port.
Yes.
What's this look like, sweetie? A Holiday Inn?
Data ports, meeting rooms, business services. Holiday Inn gives you more, and more is better.
Computer, note to self. I think we should integrate the customers.
Kema Azunma just can't get technology off his mind. Which means his customers don't always have to have it on their minds. WorldCom, Generation D.
Basketball teams often paint their logo in the middle of the court. Seemed like just the thing for 7-Up. Next time I'll get started a little sooner.
Welcome back to ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night. The Veterans Memorial Coliseum, home of the New York Islanders. The Islanders facing the Philadelphia Flyers, the third straight Islanders home game featuring the Flyers. Due to time constraints, we move ahead to further action. Welcome back to Long Island. Those of you watching in probably saying, boy, a lot of empty seats, and that's a function of a couple of things. Islanders struggling, yes, but, I mean, a terrific snowstorm happening here in the Northeast. And about 4 or 5 inches of snow, Darren, I think just in the time that we came over from the hotel, and thank goodness we can walk the way it's set up here between the hotel and the Coliseum.
Yeah, I would expect them to be slowly trickling in here. But certainly that's one reason for the delay here, and I know it's been disappointing for the new owner, Charles Wong, and of course Mike Milbury, the GM, and everybody here involved in the New York Islanders. Sounds to me like this team's here to stay, and there's a big commitment from the ownership group, and they want to make this thing work.
Icing call, and speaking of a guy that's here to stay, let's go back to the studio. John Butchergross.
Only one team has more points in the East than the Flyers. That is Ottawa, home to Florida. Daniel Alverson throws it at the net. They say Radek Bonk tipped that. I highly dispute that claim. Still 1-0 Sens.
All right, John, thanks very much. And yes, we'll tie it all together here. And once again, with the Eastern Conference standings, Ottawa, the only team in the East with more points than Philadelphia. And we're going to have quite a battle for that top spot. Washington, what a record they've had. Philadelphia Flyers, you mentioned how well they played under Bill Barber. Since Barber took over, Flyers have the best record in the National Hockey League since that point in the season. And the other teams that have done well, the Washington Capitals, Detroit Red Wings,
and the New Jersey Devils. That's your top four since December 10th. And yes, absolutely, the Philadelphia Flyers are 27-5 since that point.
Recchi and Gagne back out there again, putting pressure on the Islander defense. Stepping up Sikora to hold it in. Trying to send it back to the corner. Puck was deflected. Primo got a stick on it. Recchi, though, couldn't get the shot away. And the point for the Islanders, able to chip it out to center ice. As Cherkowski joining the rush with him. Cherkowski, quick first shot. And Czechmonic the save.
Good attempt by Mariusz Cherkowski down the left side. It was an odd man break, 3-on-2. Cherkowski playing the right side with the youngster Tim Connolly, their first-round draft pick 2 years ago, playing center ice. And Cherkowski is on the verge, and it sounds like it's all but a done deal, a 3-year, $7.2 million extension with the New York Islanders. So obviously they're showing folks that they want to keep the nucleus at least of this club. And I did speak with Mike Milbury before the game about some minor trades, and he's not going to just send a couple of players over to teams that need some help for some draft picks at this point. It's important that they keep it as much together as they possibly can. One thing to keep in mind, and he mentioned it before, if there's something big out there for an impact centerman, then, or a player like that, they're looking definitely for an impact centerman here on the island. And make no bones about it, the New York Islanders and Mike Milbury, if you missed this, and it was a while ago, Mike Milbury, he did talk to Bobby Clarke about bringing in Eric Lindros here. He did make a package deal to him. Of course, Eric said at that point, like he says now, he's not dealing with anybody else, only the Toronto Maple Leafs. But Mike Milbury has addressed the need for a centerman. He's made no bones about his fondness for Jeremy Roenick, but it appears as if Jeremy, at least right now, looks like he will re-sign with the Phoenix Coyotes. At least there's an offer on the table, so there's a goodwill gesture there. They don't want to let him go. Tough to find that kind of sentiment.
No,
Dave.
that's right. And reports were, Darren, that we talked about it during the Flyer game that we had last week with the Maple Leafs in town, that the Islanders and Flyers had agreed on the players. And as you pointed out, it was, again, Lindros and his camp saying, we're only going to one team. We're only talking about one team.
We could spend the whole broadcast talking about the soap opera going around between Pat Quinn and the general manager Bob Clark and the semi-press conference that Pat Quinn had yesterday. I mean, I don't know if their relationship's getting any stronger. They have had a great deal of respect for one another, Pat Quinn and Bobby Clark. But right now, I wonder how that's going to work out in the long run with the way things are going right now.
Desjardins sends it across. Johnson there and just chips it right back off the glass, back down into the Flyer zone. I thought it was interesting what Al Morganti said on our broadcast last week. He said you have two teams here that probably, I'm not sure how he said it, whether they don't care whether a deal gets done or it's not urgent for either one of them to get it done. And probably both are glad that all the turmoil for now is behind them, especially the Toronto Maple Leafs. Islanders nearly had a scoring chance developed there in front of Roman Czechmanek. Now here's Taylor Pyatt with Scatchard coming into the zone, but he overskated the puck, and Desjardins will wrist it back in behind Van Beesbrook. White chipped it along for Tocchet. Tocchet battling against Johnson. McGillis moves in from the point. Keeps it deep in the Islanders zone. Johnson just did get his head up as P.J. Stock was rushing at him. And Richardson now for the Flyers, sends it across, and here's McGillis. He'll just wrist it in behind Van Beesbrook as we played 9 minutes here in the first period. No score. Neither team really with a good scoring chance. And a quiet first 10 minutes for the goaltenders.
It has been. Van Beesbrook stopped that shot by Gagne, and Czechmanek stopped that shot from the point. Very tentative start to this game.
Liz Bister got a hook on P.J. Stock, who went down, and looked right at the referee, Mark Fawcett, who shook his head. No infraction there. And back the other way now. Meze for the Islanders played it back toward the Flyer zone, but the Flyer defense will take over. And it's backhanded off the boards back into the Islander zone. Hermanos is back there for the Islanders, but his pass intercepted by Ranheim. Tried to dump it in front of Van Beesbrook, never got there. As Bister plays it around to the far side. And Kolnick now trying to get it out of there. Kolnick checked hard along the boards by Jody Hull. And the Islanders, Buron follows up and clears it out to center ice. Here comes this Bister busting in on the left wing, trying to one-hand it in front. He had Jason Krog cutting for the front of the net, but the pass never got through. And it's center ice Vanderbilt down to get back behind the Islander goal. As we pass the halfway mark of period one. Is Bister left wing side. Bouncing puck. Desjardins couldn't control it. Jason Blake dumps it across in front of Czechmanek. Chara comes in and used that long reach to keep it in the zone. Now Recchi with it. Nice play to clear it out center ice. McAllister chips it on the left wing. Gagne goes back to McAllister. He tries to dump it in front. Primo was just held up. And a little bit of contact between Primo and Van Beesbrook.
Respectful contact.
Yes.
That looked like Primo just put his shoulder, a hand, excuse me, on the shoulder of Van Beesbrook, making sure he didn't lose his balance there. Of course, Johnny was instrumental last year in working with Brian Boucher. And
here comes a chance for Primo. He scores! Keith Primo on really the first great scoring chance for either team, and no surprise that Primo, Darren, in this top line for the Flyers would draw first blood.
The chemistry on this line has been absolutely outstanding. I think a lot has to do with the development of Simon Gagne, who plays the left side, Mark Recchi on the right side, and in the middle of your screen, that's where Keith Primo has the puck, and it doesn't get any better than that for any kind of player in the National Hockey League. Is a shot in the slot after the good work by Mark Recchi. Some poor coverage in front of the net by the New York Islanders. Zdeno Chara is caught in no man's land. Keep your eye on the left side of the screen. It's off the post and in. Van Beesbrook coming out to challenge. It's only he, and it's Keith Primo, and Primo won this battle here by firing that wrist shot off the post and in.
LaPointe nearly with a clean steal on McGillis. So Primo getting his 26th goal of the year. He's on a pace for a career-high season. Islanders come right back and try to put on the pressure. Tocchet chipped at it. Conley with a steal. He tried to go high on the short side. Czechmanek may have gotten a piece of that. Now he comes back low at LaPointe. LaPointe tried to dump it to the front. Comes right back to him. Sends it across. Backhand shot. Score! Excellent work by the line of Conley and LaPointe. we talked about at the very top, Primo and Cherkasky.
Just the way you wrote it up, Dave. But that's some good work, too, by Lapointe. I mean, Claude Lapointe is such an underrated hockey player, in my opinion. And he makes a nifty little backhand pass here. And so did Cherkasky. He tipped that on the backhand on the right side of your screen. And then now the left side, right underneath Roman Cechmanek. He doesn't get his stick down in time. The butterfly is not quite there, and it went actually underneath his stick and his pad and inside that far post. But what a play by Lapointe to get it to Cherkasky.
Assisted by number 8, Mark Brecky, and number 37, Eric Desjardins. And number 25,
here come the Flyers right back. P.J. Stock with Fedoruk in white. It goes back out to the line. Carrion, good job to hold it in. White tried to get it back there and could not. Now here's Therrien again. Screen shot. Van Beesbrook the save. Puck still loose. With it one more time.
Islanders
Get it up
goal
the
is
right wing
20th
side, and it's out to center ice. Here's a chance now, and it was whistled offside. Looked offside, didn't hear the whistle at first. Primo for the Flyers. Cherkasky has scored for the Islanders. We're tied at 1.
Free to move about the country.
You are a cyber jock. You bid on memorabilia. You're addicted to fantasy football. You outscore your kids in the sports PC game. You need more memory, tough guy.
Fantasy freeze up.
Don't let your system slow you down. A memory upgrade from Crucial.com can speed up your computer so you can keep up with the pros. You are a cyber jock. Crucial.com. The memory experts.
Goalies, the key factor is that you can't be afraid of the puck. You can see the whole ice from where you're standing. You can see mistakes, great plays. A lot of times when you are sharp, the plays do seem slower and they seem clearer. The noise of the crowd is not there. The only thing you're thinking about is stopping the puck. If you're able to make the big save at the right time, there's nothing better.
Couple of quick goals. Let's go back to the Keith Primo goal. Stop it here. This is Primo up here. He's going to dish it here and have some contact on this side. But it seems like the Islanders forget about it. Right here, takes the hit. Uh-oh, now look where he is. Right in the right side of your screen all alone. Kind of like a pinball. He bounces off a couple of guys, dishes the pass, and then he's just in the perfect spot. And the problem for a goaltender's point of view is Van Beesbrook was coming out. And when you're coming out, moving forward, and trying to make a save, it's very difficult. You try to get to a point and get set, but it is hard. And that one, off the post and against the green.
Well, you and I were in Carolina when Primo was going through that holdout last year. Here come the Islanders again. Drop pass for his Bistro, went by him out to the line. Loose in front of Cechmanek. He is down, puck is in the crease, and finally, he does have it covered up as the Islanders give them credit after giving up that first goal by Primo. Not only getting a goal from Cherkasky to tie it, but coming with some intensity here to try to get the go-ahead goal.
Looked to me like the Philadelphia Flyers here, a little passive in front of their net. This is an innocent-looking play. The coverage is there, but there's a little bit of a mix-up in terms of the defenseman. That's two whacks at it. Jason Krog had the one, and then he had another one at it. Unfortunately, Cechmanek was able to get down quick.
Flyers were dominating the faceoffs early, and another clean faceoff win by Primo. Now McGillis is upended along the boards. They try to get it out to Conley in the circle, but it's knocked away. Primo overskates it. Comes back, though, to battle against Cherkowski, and now Mark Recchi slides it ahead to Primo, busting up the left side. He gives it off McGillis, back in front, a tip for Gagne, scored! What a great three-way passing play. Primo, McGillis, and Gagne finishes it off, and the Flyers with a 2-1 lead.
You are a lioness. Very sexy, very sensual. Make love to the camera. Yes!
Want a better way to save money?
New camera, please.
You can save big bucks by dialing 1-800-CALLATT for collect calls.
Wonder how we got those amazing camera angles in NBA Shootout 2001? We tested out a sophisticated camera system with Chris Webber. Considering the little guy weighed 75 pounds, Chris had a pretty good game.
Rated E for everyone.
Wendy's announces our honey ham and chicken sandwich is back with its whole breast filet, creamy Dijon, and honey ham. And you can thank Dave if you ever see him again. Wendy's honey ham and chicken. It's all the buzz.
Welcome back to ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night, not far from the Statue of Liberty. Here at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, home of the New York Islanders, the Islanders playing host to the Philadelphia Flyers. More National Hockey Night coming your way on ESPN Friday night at 8 Eastern. A matchup of two of the hottest teams in the league. Steve Yzerman and the Detroit Red Wings take on their division rivals, the St. Louis Blues. This game in St. Louis can only be seen on ESPN. We'll have more between the Flyers and the Islanders right after this.
Are you planning a move in 2001? If you are, you can take your DirecTV system along with you, and we'd like to lend a hand. If you receive your monthly bill from DirecTV rather than from a local service provider, just call us when you know your new address. We have a special toll-free number for you to call. It's 877-407-4720. That's 877-407-4720. We'll help make your move trouble-free.
We trade, cut down in the moment of glory. Now, there's only one way he can... Special encore presentation on direct ticket pay-per-view. Order with your remote.
Championship Week, presented by 7-Up, begins March 3rd on ESPN and ESPN2.
Well, General Manager Mike Milbury, Dave, and their head coach Butch Goring have talked to Rick DiPietro, the first goaltender in the amateur draft to go #1 overall from Boston University. Played 1 year there, but he will play 2 of every 3 games down the stretch now for the New York Islanders. So he'll play this weekend in an interesting matchup against the Florida Panthers' Roberto Luongo. Of course, Luongo was traded to make room for DiPietro, and Luongo has been absolutely brilliant in goal for the Florida Panthers.
Boy, has he ever.
And then he'll play Sunday afternoon as well. So back-to-back games this weekend. You know, the thing about Rick DiPietro, he spent 2 years at that National Development Program in Michigan, and that program in Michigan is developing some real stars in the United States. It's been a good program for them. He won the Bob Johnson Award last year, the top USA hockey player.
And I know he's already talking with great anticipation about Salt Lake, the Olympics next February. Would he be the #1 goaltender for the United States, or where would you turn?
Way too early for that.
Absolutely.
But
okay.
the injury to Mike
Well, that's what I was
does
just
open
thinking.
up.
Exactly.
It does open up a can of worms. It's an opportunity. I shouldn't say that. That's awful. I didn't mean it that way.
Well, you're so used to being controversial. That's why.
No. But the other guy to keep in mind.
Play offside at the Islander line.
The other guy to keep in mind is Mike Dunham out of Nashville. John Van Beesbroek was there a couple of years ago, but Mike Richter was the #1 guy. Guy Hebert was also there that year. But a lot of things will happen from now to then, but they will stay committed to the guys that have been committed to the USA Hockey program. And so Rick DiPietro has certainly done that. John Van Beesbroek certainly did that for USA Hockey. And I know Rick, as Jim Craig was, a graduate of BU and went on to heroic.
You're just tying this all together. Another BU guy.
I watched that feature last night, that HBO documentary on the 1988 gold team, and I was just mesmerized by the television set. I was just enthralled by it. I know so was Rick DiPietro.
Well, we spoke with Rick DiPietro before the game tonight and asked him about an opportunity to play in the National Hockey League.
Well, definitely. You know, this is the greatest league in the world, and you got the most talented players. So I figured it'd be a jump, but as a 19-year-old coming in, you kind of think you know everything. But to my disliking, you know, it was a big jump, and I kind of had to learn the hard way there a little bit. But it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a fun transition.
To my disliking.
Backhand shot by Gagne. I have a 19-year-old. They don't think they know everything. They do know everything. There's no thinking about it. Here's Primo dropping it back between the circles for Recchi, and it's tipped out to center ice. And McGillis has it there. The hand-eye coordination of Gagne to knock that puck out of midair. And the Islanders turn it right back. Conley just got his head up. Rotarian had him lined up.
I'm a 37-year-old that thinks he knows everything. I do know one thing right now, that if the New York Islanders don't pay more attention to Keith Primo, he's going to light it up for 5 in this game.
Kowski from an angle, and Czechmanic clears that puck out of harm's way. And here's Tocchet trying to settle the puck down. He does. It comes out of Langkow. He scores! Damon Langkow. After the puck was knocked down, the line of Langkow, Fedotenko, and Tocchet giving the Flyers a 2-goal lead.
Middle of the ice is absolutely burning the New York Islanders. The Philadelphia Flyers are cruising through the middle of the ice like it's pond hockey. And that's not a good thing. And any goal scorer will tell you he's got the puck in the middle of the rings, right in the slot. He's going to score some goals. This is a 3-on-2. There's no back checkers. See the space? You see any New York Islander forwards coming back at all?
Jeez,
none whatsoever. None whatsoever. Here's the play. I thought at first this might have been an offside situation. I was a little bit surprised by it. And you know, Langkow's got time. The puck's played from the one side to the middle with time, and then a shot through traffic. I tell you, Van Beesbroek's had no chance on 3 of the goals so far. The only one that he might have a sniff at is that first Primo goal.
Scatcherd's shot kind of changed direction and whizzed by the helmet of Czechmanic. And Roman Czechmanic occasionally will intentionally make a save with his mask.
He'll bump it away with his head like he's playing soccer. And I know if I would have done that, it would have gone on in the 6 hole. Over my head, under the crossbar, and in the net.
Of the season, squad number 18, Damon Langkow. Assistant by number 26, Ruslan Fedotenko. Number 92, Rick Tocchet.
Fedotenko and Tocchet assisting on the goal.
26, Fedotenko, and 92, Tocchet. Top of the goal, 1834.
It was Fedotenko that gave him the pass from the left side. I thought Fedotenko had a chance to shoot it. And there was so much time and space. He took his time, played it right to the middle of the ice.
Here is Johnson now back in his own zone. Down to the last 20 seconds of this first period. So if there's any danger, and I know Barry Melrose has talked about this, the coaches sometimes fear these games that look like a mismatch on paper, but the Flyers have been very businesslike.
Well, they've taken advantage of their opportunities. It's not like they've dominated this period.
No, that's right.
But every chance they've had is right from the slot.
And Krog tried to bring it into the zone, but the play whistled down as the first period ends. Langkow with the last goal to go along with goals by Gagne and Primo. 3-1 Flyers.
Losing your hair? It's a thing in my family. Suddenly I'm 30. I'm seeing hair here and hair there. I'm bumming. What did I expect? Thanks, Dad. So a year ago, I broke with tradition. Started using Rogaine.
Rogaine. It's the only one clinically proven to work directly on the scalp to help stop hair loss.
Look, nothing here, nothing here. It's all here. Rogaine broke the family curse.
Rogaine. Stronger than heredity.
How many Elvises does it take to take Las Vegas? Kurt Russell. Come on! Kevin Costner.
Let's do it.
3,000 miles to Graceland. Rated R. Now playing.
At BASF, we don't make the sunscreen. We make it stronger. We don't make the tennis shoes. We make them grip better. We don't make the jacket. We make it brighter. We don't make the carpet. We make it tougher. At BASF, we don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
All right, boys, last card.
I'm gonna raise you $1.
You must have something, boys.
Just $1. Hey, don't you know about 10-10-220? What?
Yeah, man, 10-10-220. All calls up to 20 minutes. 99 cents.
Just 7 cents a minute after that.
All calls up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents? See, $1 is worth a lot.
I'm out.
Me too. I call you.
Do you have any 5s?
Go fish.
Dial 10-10-220.
You can do it! You can do it! Go, Jorge! Go! 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 You can do it! Yeah!
Thanks, Jorge.
I love you so much!
Should visors be mandatory? It's one question that we talk about on NHL tonight after the Kings and Flames. Here, Barry Melrose's opinion on the matter.
And now for something dramatically different from Dodge. The all-new Dodge Grand Caravan. Simply put, it's the best minivan ever from the people who invented the minivan. And now with low 0.9 financing on most caravans, you'll find that different may actually be even better. Dodge Caravan. Different.
I'm a man without conviction. I'm a man who doesn't know how to sell a contradiction. You come and go. You come and go.
Intel Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world.
Introducing Chili's baby back ribs. To go.
I think it's going to be about a yard short. Bring it up 4th and 1.
Get in, get out, get on with your life. It's about velocity, aerodynamics, gravity, kinetic energy, friction.
It's about sports. It's ESPN Sports Figures. You can score points at school by learning math and physics through the dynamics of sports. ESPN Sports Figures. Put your brain in the game.
ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night is brought to you by Toshiba Copiers, Faxes, and Printers. Don't copy, lead. By Dodge, the official vehicles of the NHL. Dodge, different. And by Warner Brothers' new motion picture 3,000 Miles to Graceland in theaters everywhere Friday, February 23rd. Welcome back here to the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. ESPN2's National Hockey Night. Dave Strader, Darren Pang. Thanks to John and Barry, as always, in the studio in our first intermission. 3-1 Flyers with the lead, and we've received word that Rick Tocchet, with a strained groin, is not going to return for this game. And Tocchet was involved in that third goal that was scored by his line mate Damon Lykow. So Bill Barber will have a little bit of shifting to do with line combinations as Gagne now hands it off. Recchi with some speed. Forced to go back as he was met in the zone by Meze. Now out to the line. Quick shot. Deflected just wide of Van Beesbrook. Centering pass, and it rolls all the way out through center ice. Desjardins hustling against Scatchard. Scatchard gets a body on it. Sends it to the corner. They wanted to put it right out in front for both the point, but it deflects over the glass and out of play as Scatchard and Desjardins having some words.
Well, so far, the story of this game has certainly been the Primo line. And their line with Recchi and Gagne, they're all a +2. And the two horses on the blue line, Zdeno Chara and Roman Hamrlik, were really matched up against them for the majority of that period whenever possible. And they are -3 each.
Yeah.
And so, it was, you know, maybe you'll see some tweaking going on by Butch Goring. You hope that there'll be something because it wasn't working in that first period. Way too much open ice. And here I see Chara and Hamrlik on the ice against Damon Lankow's line. And now, as you mentioned, with Rick Tocchet out of the lineup,
right,
they've got Paul Ranheim taking up that spot with Fedotenko and Lankow.
Well, in fairness to the Islander defense and to Van Beesbrook, as you pointed out, especially on that third goal, not a lot of help coming back. I mean, it was a 3-on-2.
No backside pressure whatsoever, and you can. That's like playing pond hockey. It's easy to make a play when there's no one on your back and lifting your stick and being tenacious. The forwards of the New York Islanders have got to do a better job.
Richardson holding it in. Van Beesbrook steers it to the corner. Fedotenko took a chop there from Roman Hamrlik. They continue to battle along the boards. Now it comes to Richardson again at the line. Knocked down by Tim Connolly, and he will clear it out to center ice. And Cherkowski plays it back into the Flyers zone. Taylor Pyatt in there on the forecheck as well, but the puck comes free, and Ranheim slides it out now to Lankow. Lankow first crossing with Fedotenko, slides one in. Van Beesbrook easily steers that to the corner. Matthew Biron, number 6, steps into Lankow, pins him along the boards. And Cherkowski for the Islanders, able to slide it out through center ice.
We should mention, too, you know, Biron just recalled. They want to see what he's all about. They want to measure his season so far. He hasn't had much of a chance up here with the big club. And also Eric Cairns out with a wrist injury. So that's a big loss here because he's usually paired with Zdeno Chara. And they will often obviously go up against other teams' best.
Another guy with great size. Eric Cairns, who's now in the lineup for the New York Ranger. Centering pass hit the side of the net. That was nearly a scoring chance for Kolnick, who was cruising through the slot out at the line. Shot was blocked in front of Van Beesbrook. Here's Biron teeing one up. Could not get it through. It comes back to him. He'll try it once again. Good stop there by Czechmanek as he came out to challenge.
I think that hit the knob of his stick. Stop with anything. Knob of the stick. Forehead. Doesn't matter.
Big hit on Krog there by Fedora. Back comes P.J. Stock. He'll hand it off. Now Fedora takes it into the Islander zone. Drops it back for Manderville just off the bench. Wide pass played on the near side. McAllister behind the net for Stock. Stock tried to tip it out in front. And we've got Mark Bossett, the referee, who's out at center ice with his arm in the air. And it's going to be obstruction cross-check.
Well, let's go back to the first period and take a look at the very pretty goals. We had a fast-flowing first period. Not a lot of timeouts here to kind of regroup and show you what happened, but it was all Flyers for these goals. Mark Recchi, super pass to Keith Primo. Here, another wonderful play here. Dan McGillis pass over there to Simon Gagne. Now Damon Lankow's got 3 weeks in the day to make that play. No back-checking whatsoever by the New York Islanders. Now, the Islanders did get one goal. It was from Mariusz Cherkowski. And really, the shots are 13-7, but it's been the quality of chances that players like Keith Primo have had on the New York Islanders. So don't always look at the shots on goal. It's the quality of chances that you do get, obviously. I like the ones from the outside, 60-footers. Those are the best ones. 70-footers.
McGillis knocked it down with a glove, and here is Conley for the Islanders, short-handed, trying to kill some time, and he'll backhand it. And as you take a look at the special teams numbers for the Flyers, again, as well as they played, still below the midpoint in the league average on the power play and the penalty kill. McGillis with a blast high up off the glass, and that climbs into the seats out of play.
I got to show you Keith Primo busting through the neutral zone with speed, and he didn't get the puck here. but there would be nothing that the New York Islanders could do on that play if he did get it. Now, let's stop it right here. This is Primo. This was a shot, but Primo was busting. He actually had a lane. That's a bad arrow there. I apologize for that terrible arrow. But Primo was flying, and he was looking for the puck, and here we're going to get a better look at it. Here he goes, stick on the ice. And he kind of had to look up and, oh, man. It would have had to be a perfect play by Dan McGillis, but that's one thing that the Philadelphia Flyers are doing so well. They are coming through the neutral zone with speed as a group, and that is tough to defend against.
So the play would have had to have been better than your arrow, for example.
Now, my arrow was awful. That's a bad arrow. That's a Barry arrow.
You got to get the arrows down before the playoffs start.
That's why Barry always had his assistants.
Barry arrow.
He had his assistants do all the drawings and all the neat stuff. Assistants do that stuff.
Oh, boy. Primo at center ice. Challenge there by Janssen. Good shot here, and getting back with McGillis, not only to block the shot, but it deflects over the glass and out of play. Let's go back to the studio. John Butchergrass.
Well, will the Maple Leafs play better with Rob Blake in Denver and Eric Lindros back wherever he is against Vancouver? How about Steve Thomas with the twisted wrister? 1-0 Toronto. And then Gary Vaughn to make it 2-0.
All right, thanks very much. Remind me of the Steve Thomas that I saw with the St. Catherine Saints in the American Hockey League.
Oh, reminds me of my old teammate in practice. Rifling one over my shoulder. Just a matter of time before Stumpy gets her going because he's got that quick shot and he's a streaky goal scorer. And I know the Toronto Maple Leafs, they want to put everything behind them as well. The Philadelphia Flyers, everybody would like to advance forward on this, and we did spend some time talking to Bobby Clark. I asked Bobby if he wanted to go on and do an interview, and he said there's nothing more for me to say, to be quite honest with you. And he has a very good point there. But one of the things, he was talking to one of the reporters, and I know that you find it interesting with the communication. What exactly was asked by the Philadelphia Flyers, and was there a little bit of deceit on one side? You know, Bobby Clark doesn't have to make a move. I mean,
no question.
He doesn't have to make a move, so he's looking for the very best. But if there was player A, exhibit A, let's say he's Markov, and he's got a bad back, and that was the list, and then at the last minute, when it's agreed upon, it's changed to Caberlet, it becomes a little bit of a problem, I would have to say.
Yep.
But he was asked if he saw an MRI of Markov's back, and he did say, no, we saw the medical reports, but no, we didn't look at an MRI. I think all along, that wasn't the player anyway that they had in mind. It was definitely Caberlet.
All you have to do is look at some of the quotes from Bobby Clark in the weeks that this has been going on. He said at one point, from our standpoint, if Toronto walks away, it eliminates where Lindros said he wanted to go. And that doesn't bother Bobby Clark, that Eric Lindros doesn't get to go where he wants. And again, because the Flyers have played so well, you're right, Darren, he's not forced to make a move. And Toronto can't put together the package that he wants or feels is the best, and he's going to wait. Biron out of the box says the power play for the Flyers is over, but here comes Gagne. Oh, he tried to go short side. Van Beesbrook dragging the right pad. Made a veteran move there to stop Gagne.
Big save, too. That could be the kind of save that gets John Van Beesbrook and the Islanders back on a little bit of a roll. He's not had an opportunity in this hockey game to make saves in succession. That was a good one.
Well, Gagne made the move on his goal where he cut across. He looked like he was going to do that there, but there's a chance right out in front of Czechmanic. Looked like he lost sight of that puck for a moment as the Kolnick shot was deflected up in the air. Now it is chipped by the Flyer defense out to center ice. Janssen under some pressure from Redheim. Moves it quickly. Covered by Kolnick. Here's Isbister. Quick wrist shot. That was over top of Czechmanic. Kolnick now on the boards. Krog and Isbister centering pass came right in front of Czechmanic. Picked up on the boards by Janssen, who moved in for the point. Now it's taken away by Kolnick. Kolnick tried to get it to Krog, never could get the shot away. Good work by this line for the Islanders. Isbister dragged down on a penalty coming here. It's going to go against McAllister. Delayed call. Van Beesbrook gets to the bench. The extra attacker out there now for the Islanders. Here's Isbister, winds up trying to drive a shot. Picked up in front. Score! Kolnick, I believe, picked up the loose puck. And on the delayed penalty, the Islanders back to within one.
Hockey's a game of momentum. And that save by Van Beesbroek starts the play up the ice. A delayed penalty on Chris McAllister as there was pressure and good buzzing going on by this line here. And Kolnick and Krog doing a good job with Isbister. There's the minor penalty on McAllister. Now they're able to get the goaltender Van Beesbroek out of the net. A fan shot and another fan shot. There's no doubt that Kolnick fanned on that as well. Looked like he was nonchalantly trying to flip that up.
Yeah.
It went underneath, and Isbister's shot was fanned on too. Good break for the Islanders and some good persistent work in the offensive zone.
So the youngster Kolnick, just 20 years of age.
I was just about to say that Jason Krog and Kolnick are little guys. You know, little light guys that kind of buzz around, and big Isbister's a powerful forward to complement the two little guys.
Nice move here by Conley. He slides it in front between the circles. It was tipped away by Terrian. So Jason Krog getting an assist along with Isbister on the goal by Kolnick. Just his second of the year. Batted out of midair by P.J. Stock as he was streaking in front of Van Beesbroek. And the Islanders able to clear it out to center ice. Cherkowski taken down by McGillis, and the trail referee, well behind the play, is going to make the call here. And McGillis upset.
Well, the youngster Kolnick, only 5'10", 182 pounds, gets congratulations from his teammates, the New York Islanders. And the long-haired freaky fan giving her up right here for the Islanders.
I'm sorry, did I say millionaires? I meant billionaire.
I hope Agent Phil isn't twisting Gretzky's arm too hard.
That's terrible. He's going to make us rich.
Very good. He's probably bleeding Gretzky dry.
Ladies, how about another Bud Light?
Oh, hey.
And could you get this one? We're a little short.
I'm sorry. Could I get your name again, sir?
Mr. Phil Esposito. And please take care of yourself. I may be small, but I'm a big tipper.
Punks.
Only one can be the best. To get there takes strength, speed, and endurance.
One athlete's foot medicine has it all. Lamisil AT.
Strength.
Full prescription strength to stop the itching and burning.
Speed.
These take 4 weeks of treatment. Lamisil AT cures it with just one.
Endurance.
3 months later, you're still athlete's foot free.
Game over.
The official athlete's foot treatment of the NBA, Lamisil AT. The best way to cure athlete's foot.
Yo.
Thompson, Gilman here. You at the office?
How's the trip going, sir?
Fine. Did Mackenzie's email say 4 million? And when's the meeting?
Call you right back.
Introducing Nextel Office Email. Calendar, contact list, email, right on your phone.
Me again. 4 million and the meeting's at 10.
Excellent work. Why don't you go home early?
Nextel. More ways than anyone to communicate with everyone.
And now for something genuinely different from Dodge. It's the truck that redefined what a full-size pickup should be. Dodge Ram. 1 million have switched to Dodge trucks. And now with low 0.9 financing on Ram, you'll find the difference may actually be even better. Dodge Ram. Different.
Now get the Wall Street Journal delivered for 8 weeks at just 37 cents a day, a 50% savings. Call now 800-255-6600. That's 800-255-6600 for the Wall Street Journal.
Well, there's one of the best-known fans here in Long Island. That's the gentleman we showed going to break. Stanley's his name, and long-time season ticket holder here for the Islanders. They had some kind of a like a town meeting, open forum where fans were invited to meet with Charles Wong, one of the owners of the New York Islanders, and Stanley let him have it. And they had quite an exchange.
He sure did. He says, tough, you don't like it, don't come to the games.
Yeah,
Mike Milbury's stand.
Yep.
I mean, that's how passionate Charles Wong was about Mike Milbury. And Mike Milbury told me before the game he will never forget what this man has obviously done in going to bat for him.
Should point out his last name is Craig Stanley is his name. 42 years of age, and very passionate about the Islanders.
It sure is. It's not Cup.
No, it's not Stanley Cup. That's right. Cherkowski Plays it off the boards now. Janssen brings it out to Hammerlich. His shot deflected wide. So the Islanders, Darren, here with a power play opportunity to tie this game. It is 3-2 in favor of Philadelphia as Roman Hammerlich sends it across. Peter White, one of the penalty killers, lost his stick. Here comes Sikora now into the Islander zone. Rips the wrist shot just wide of Van Beesbroek.
I caught Van Beesbroek a little off guard. Sikora wasn't with the Flyers last year, so it's not a player that he would know about that shot, but he does have a heavy shot.
And the Islanders offside.
Let's go back to the goal that has made this a 3-2 game by Kolnick. And I showed you that I thought Kolnick might have fanned on the shot as Czechmanek was doing the two-pad slide going to his left from our Southwest Airlines goal cam. I want you to keep an eye on the bottom left part of your screen. There. See, there's not much room there. You don't mean to put that puck under there, believe me. Out there. There was the high part of the net was exactly where he was trying to go. He fanned on it perfectly. You can't fan on it any better than that.
What do you call that as a goalie? You call that a bag of dirt goal?
That is a bag of wheat chaff. That is no doubt. I mean, there's no way that's supposed to go in there. It's supposed to go high under the bar and in.
The goaltender doesn't like to get beat under any circumstance, but when you know it doesn't go anywhere where a shooter intended, it makes it worse. Here come the Islanders, odd man break. Isbitzer cutting for the front of the net. Couldn't get the pass. Now Billy McCult, former University of Michigan standout, and they're battling, but the Flyers able to clear. Isbitzer coming in again. Just hooked on the play by Desjardins, who then rather conveniently ran into the net, knocked it off the moorings.
Well, the Islanders are driving the net a little bit harder here. Only 8 seconds left on the power play, but I want to go back to John Van Beesbroek's calmness with the puck. And this is something that Rick DiPietro, well known for his puck handling, can really learn. Stop it here, guys, for a second. This was Van Beesbroek that played it up the wall, getting one guy trapped, and now we've got two guys here, and they're able to break out, the New York Islanders were, because of the play by Van Beesbroek. One chip play off the boards. Billy McCall has the puck. Now it's a 2-on-1 break and some good back check. Oh, there's three. There's another guy there on the far side as well. Now, they didn't get a shot on goal, but that's a good heads-up play by Van Beesbroek, playing it up the wall like that. The boards, excuse me.
You called the wall?
No, I told the great legendary Reggie Fleming, former Blackhawk, that I wouldn't call it the wall anymore. He said it to the boards. They've always been the boards. It's not a wall.
Here comes Recchi into the zone now. Recchi had to dump it in front. Good play by Janssen to knock that puck down. Primo, though, holding it in. Problem is, you have most of the coaches calling it the wall.
I know.
They describe their power play, the half walls where we want this guy to set up.
You got to understand how passionate Reggie Fleming is about the game of hockey. Last time when they won the Stanley Cup in Chicago, he was the guy who scored a key shorthanded goal in the championship game. When he tells me it's not a wall, I'm going with the boards.
I don't blame you there. Chara moved in from the point. He's battling to keep that puck alive deep in the Flyer zone. It comes free. Recchi, though, couldn't clear it, but he gets some help from Gagne. Look at the speed of Gagne into the zone. Gets the shot away, and Van Beesbroek wisely hanging on as Primo was coming in on him. Just past the halfway mark of the second period. Islanders have closed it down to 1.
Mystic Music presents Red Hot. 35 scorching red hot hits. Fiery red hot rock songs will set your speakers ablaze. Red hot dance songs will set the floor on fire. Red hot love songs will ignite your passion. Red Hot is too hot to be sold in stores, so call now to get your own sizzling collection. 2 cassettes for only $19.95. 2 CDs only $26.95. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-313-0400 or send $19.95 for 2 cassettes or $26.95 for 2 CDs plus $4.95 shipping to the address on your screen. Call now.
Tonight on ESPN at 8, Sergei Fedorov and the Red Wings face off with conference rival Pierre Turgeon and the Blues. On ESPN2 at 7:30, a tribute to the NASCAR legend Dale Earnhardt. And at 9, it's Friday Night Fights with scores and news on the bottom line. And on ESPN Classic at 8, SportsCentric profiles the man who broke Major League Baseball's color barrier, Jackie Robinson. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Michael Sikora has a propensity to be a less than physical player, but he's showing the ability to have some sweet feet.
Here's a chance now for Blake cutting in. Tekmonik made a great move, and Tekmonik stayed with him. What a chance there for the Islanders, and back come the Flyers going to the net. Fedotenko just slapped it wide as he collided with Van Beesbrook, and a penalty coming. And it's likely going to be against Conley, who was hustling back against Ruslan Fedotenko.
What a change of events, though. I mean, Blake goes down on a breakaway, has an opportunity to make this a 3-3 game. Instead, the Flyers counter, and in an odd man break, the back checking of Connolly results in a minor penalty. Blake has his head up all the way. This is a gritty little player. I really like this guy. I think Jason Blake's got a lot of ability as a kind of a combination agitator, and he's got some decent hands. This is a good move here, although trying to go low on Tekmonik, I'm not sure if that's the right way with the long legs that he has.
Yep.
6'3", 200 pounds. And then the other way, Tim Connolly came busting back. And the good news is that Tim Connolly and his line were back checking hard, putting some pressure anyway on the Philadelphia Flyers. But he went down, nullifying a good scoring attempt. It's a penalty that you got to take in that situation, right in front of your goaltender, and the puck coming right there to a player.
So the Flyers with their second power play. McGillis, top of the circle, drives a shot. Oh, the blade of his stick went all the way across the zone, ended up in the corner.
Really hit Mark Recchi in the head.
I don't think Recchi ever saw it. McGillis already with a new piece of lumber. Right back onto the power play. Here is Recchi. Tried to dump it across as Desjardins moved in from the right point. Islanders able to clear.
That's what he's looking for. When you watch the Philadelphia Flyers and a lot of teams, you often see the defenseman on the weak side jump in there on a backdoor play, and Eric Desjardins does that as slyly as anybody in the NHL.
Primo with it. Break wide now. Desjardins out near the line. Hands it off. McGillis left point. Here is Recchi with it. Recchi puts it in deep. Centering pass. Primo just missed on the one-timer. He was set up in an excellent scoring position there. Now Recchi again and Primo. Big collision between Primo and Chara. And we'll have to wait and see which way that call goes, but it looks like it's against Keith Primo. More NHL action coming your way, and this one will be a dandy. What looked like an insurmountable lead just about a month ago, St. Louis over Detroit in that Central Division, has been narrowed considerably. Steve Yzerman of the Red Hot Red Wings will take on the St. Louis Blues, 8 o'clock tomorrow. This game can be seen in the St. Louis area only on ESPN's National Hockey Night. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
Well, this call here, not well received by Keith Primo, and I see his point here. He didn't do anything. He didn't nudge his shoulder. He was skating in a line. Now, from the referee's point of view, because Chara went down, if he missed it at first, he might have thought that Primo went out of his way to hit Chara, and therefore buying more time for Mark Recchi with the puck. But as we look at it, all Keith Primo was doing was going on a straight line. I don't know the exact determination of that type of call.
Well, the officials will tell you you're entitled to your line of skating, especially since he was already in front of Chara.
I think that's a good break for the New York Islanders. That's what that is in a nutshell.
So it creates a 4-on-4 situation with still over a minute left in the Tim Connolly penalty. 8.5 remaining here in the second period. Flyers with a 3-2 lead over the New York Islanders. Third consecutive home game, Darren, for the New York Islanders against the Philadelphia Flyers. Only 3 other times in NHL history has that happened, where a team had 3 consecutive home games against the same team. Right out between the circles, a chance for that man Fedotenko, and fortunately for Van Beesbrook, he got a little bit of help with a shot block out in front.
Boy, Fedotenko has been a good player for the Philadelphia Flyers. Him and Todd Fedoruk, the tank, I mean, real good players. They've really added a lot to this lineup. But look where 26 in the orange jersey is.
Wow.
I mean, right in the middle of the rings again. And the defenseman that came in, I believe that was Biron.
Biron,
right?
yes.
That was Matthew Biron that came in like that. I mean, you better stop that.
I was just going to ask
you. Know what? You're just getting right in the way of the goalie that's already got a beat on that shot anyway.
From that distance, when a guy's winding up and you're going to see it all the way, do you want the defenseman even coming in at all?
I would love him to just stay out of the way and make sure he stops and takes care of the rebound. Because if that puck's going to your right side, that's where all the players were coming to. Just be there for the rebound and get swatted away.
Good shot blocked by Sketcher. Hands it off for Cherkowski, who has one of the 2 Islander goals. Kolnick has the other one. Chara tips it into the zone, picks it up himself. Tried to put it out in front. He's taken to the ice by McGillis. At the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum here in Long Island. Chara put it out in front for Sketcher. And that was tipped away. Dave Strader along with Darren Pang, the rest of our National Hockey Night crew. And a renewed spirit in this Islander team here in the second period. As the Islanders now on the power play. Their third power play opportunity, but as you see, just over a half a minute left. As Conley, who came out of the box, right out on the power play for New York. Sketcher to collision there with Desjardins. Cherkowski tried to get it back to the point. Janssen got a stick on it between the circle. Picked up Sketcher, a backhander, and he slid it just wide. Conley got it out to the point. Janssen held it in, but it's picked up by Terry. And boy, they got a bad break there that puck didn't come out. The Flyers did. Good break for the Islanders. As Sketcher in the corner now as they settle it down. Primo is out of the box, trying to get back into the play. Shot from the point, deflected well wide. Here is Janssen again with it. Primo lost his stick, gets it back. Comes back to the line. Janssen, wrist shot, save, Tikmanek. Big rebound, and it comes out to the Flyers, and they could have a 3-on-2 if they hurry, but it's mishandled by White. And that puck, look out, right into the crowd below us. And out of play. Now, a lot of history here, of course. One of the great dynasties in the history of the National Hockey League. The Islanders winning 4 consecutive cups, 1980 when they defeated the Flyers. That memorable overtime cup-clinching goal that was scored by Bobby Nystrom. But after missing the playoffs just 5 times in the first 22 years, they have missed the playoffs each of the last 6. And it has been a difficult situation, changing ownership of an outdated building. A lot of things to overcome.
Stripes on the jerseys representing the Stanley Cups of the New York Islanders. Don't look for Mike Milbury to start, wheeling and dealing. Although he has shown a habit of lacking patience, I think it's important. I talked to him before this about keeping this thing as much together as they can.
Well, that pass for Isbister just missed getting through, and it would have been a breakaway opportunity. Just under 6 minutes left in the second period. Roman Tikmanek and the Flyers, all they can handle from the Islanders so far tonight.
And now for something distinctly different from Dodge, the all-new Dodge Stratus. Stratus sedan has the government's highest safety rating, a 5-star frontal crash safety rating for both driver and front passenger. And now with low 0.9 financing on Stratus, you'll find the different may actually be even better. Dodge Stratus. Different.
The digital divide is the distance we allow between those who have the power of information and those who don't. In AmeriCorps, we're working to bridge that gap so that all of us can get to a better place. We're going around the world, on the web. In AmeriCorps, it's not can you make a difference, it's where. It's your world. It's your chance to make it better.
Computer, note to self. I think we should integrate the customers.
Kema Azunma just can't get technology off his mind. Which means his customers don't always have to have it on their minds. WorldCom Generation D.
Appreciate the earth-shattering sound you get when we install a 12-inch subwoofer in your car.
Welcome back to ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night, not far from the Statue of Liberty. Here at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, home of the New York Islanders, the Islanders playing host to the Philadelphia Flyers. More National Hockey Night coming your way on ESPN Friday night at 8 Eastern. A matchup with two of the hottest teams in the league. Steve Yzerman and the Detroit Red Wings pick on their division rivals, the St. Louis Blues. This game in St. Louis can only be seen on ESPN. We'll have more between the Flyers and the Islanders right after this.
And now for something uniquely different from Dodge. The Dodge Durango. For power, room, payload, and towing, Durango is just right. And now with low 0.9 financing on Durango, you'll find the difference may actually be even better. Dodge Durango. Different.
Oven toasting brings out the taste.
Quiznos subs are toasted for mouth-watering flavors. Try our smoked turkey sub with roasted red pepper sauce on rosemary Parmesan bread. Quiznos. Oven toasted tastes better.
So ESPN.com's taking all my business now, but I still have a dream, and I still have the recipe for success. Take 2 cups of Kathy's Smile, a tablespoon of real live fun, mix it with hard work, a touch of awesome body, sprinkle it with love, and you got Kathy Cam. I'm hungry.
I want that money. You want?
How much cash does it take?
Ow! Are you nuts? Probably.
To go 3,000 miles to Graceland. Rated R. Now playing.
She walked through the door with enough heat to melt the ice at First Union Center. She was trouble from the start. She wanted to know my credentials. I told her about being the alternate captain, about the 7 All-Star appearances. I told her I was one of the best two-way players around. And that's when she slapped me. I guess I had to explain that one.
Bruins Blues at 8:30 tomorrow on ESPN2.
Now, the ESPN Classic will take a look back at the career of 7-time Winston Cup champion Dale Earnhardt, of course, tragically killed at the Daytona 500 this past weekend. Take a look at all the highlights of his career, including the 1994 Winston Select 500, the 87 Trans-South 500, so many highlights in the career of Dale Earnhardt. And it will be all starting at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. If you don't have ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC or contact your cable provider.
Dale Earnhardt was a special person, and in the sporting world, we lost a very special number 3 a couple of years ago that played in Carolina, Steve Chason, and of course Dale Earnhardt, number 3 is
number 3 car,
formidable
absolutely.
on his car. And I'm not a huge racing fan. From everything I've read, boy, what an impact he has had on so many people's lives.
Here's Gagne now for the Flyers into the corner. McGillis right out in front. Recchi was stopped by Van Beesbrook. That's the second big save that Van Beesbrook has had to make here in this second period. And remember, the Islanders followed up that first real good save by Van Beesbrook by getting the goal that put him to within 1. Long outlet pass. Here is Gagne. He's got Primo coming into the zone. Pass for Primo, drives the shot, and a left leg save by Van Beesbrook again. Islanders clear it down the ice, so this will be an icing call.
Boy, they've had some good chances, and John Van Beesbrook has been solid. After giving up 3 goals in the first period, he's been perfect here in the second period. And Primo and Recchi tag teaming up along with Gagne. This pass here from Dan McGillis in the far left corner. And that shot, trust me, that was a left pad save there. And with Recchi all alone in front of the net, here's McGillis.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Recchi, Keith Primo is right there as well. Then Lapointe was able to bring it down on the left side. Then just after that, Primo had a good chance right from the slot.
Don't forget, Southwest Airlines intermission report coming up. John and Barry talking about the Sabres and the Devils. Hasek against Brodeur, perhaps. Canucks Leafs. And more on the Avalanche from Barry Melrose. Wonder where Barry's going to come down on that discussion of whether visors should be mandatory. And there's some talk that maybe icing should be automatic so we don't have collisions like we just saw.
It's going to be ballet out there pretty soon.
Just putting it out there. I'm not saying I agree or disagree.
No, there's been a lot of terrible injuries with that, and it's a legitimate beef. And there's a very, very legitimate discussion that you can have on both those topics. Here, this is an icing call. I actually thought Isbister had maybe got there.
Yeah, it looked pretty close when he reached out with a stick.
Nope, but from that angle, linesman right there. Mark Perry making the call, and he's right on the mark. And it was the stick of Therrien that got there first, the guy they call Al Bundy on the Philadelphia Flyers. But Brad Isbister is a legitimate player for this hockey club. And I want to go back something quickly. In preseason, when Isbister and Zdeno Chara were offered contracts, they were taken off the table. And if not for the work of John Van Beesbroek going to the ownership, Charles Wong saying, we need these two players. Can you please put it back out there? They did so, and these two players signed. So those are two big signings in the offseason for Mike Milbury. It was heated last year. It'll get heated up again this year.
So not just mentoring the young backup goaltender, John Van Beesbroek very much playing the leadership role in that Islander dressing room. When this period comes to an end, just one goal in the period, and it was scored by Colin. But that man, John Van Beesbroek, certainly gets a lot of credit for the fact that the Islanders are still in this one. The Flyers with a 3-2 lead after 2 periods of play.
Free to move about the country.
Hey, Tommy, there's an inspector here to see you.
Tell him I'm making a call.
I ain't got time for no jibber-jabber. Inspector Collect is here to educate you about calling Collect.
What's the big deal?
The deal is, when you dial 1-800-COLLECT, you say to people you called at least $1 or $2.
How am I supposed to remember that?
It's a collect call, fool. Just put 1-800 before it.
Put the 1-800 before Collect.
What you say we gold plate these babies? Dial 1-800-COLLECT. Save $1 or $2.
Tell me, when will you be mine? Tell me quando we can share a love divine. Please don't make me wait again. When will you say yes to me?
If the way it's made doesn't convince you, or the durability, or the safety, or the comfort, or the performance, or the way you're treated, if all that doesn't make you want to buy a Saturn, no offer will. Of course, we could be wrong.
NHL tonight after Game 2 of our doubleheader, which is the Kings and Flames. The Kings without Rob Blake. And should visors be mandatory? Don't miss a good show tonight.
It seems so simple. Put the ball in the hoop. Whoever does it the most wins. But have you ever tried an inside-out crossover? How about a reverse pivot and spin move? Or hitting a 23-footer with the game on the line? Simple? Anything but. With NBA League Pass from DirecTV, you'll get up to 40 games a week from outside your area. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS now, and for just 4 payments of $27.25, you'll see the world's greatest athletes play the world's greatest game.
UFC middleweight champion of the world, Tito Ortiz. Undefeated #1 contender, Evan Tanner.
Let's get it on!
Huntington Beach bad boy Tito Ortiz puts his title on the line against hard-hitting Texan Evan Tanner. Plus the toughest event in sports from the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. UFC 30, Friday, February 23rd, live on Direct Ticket.
Log on to the coolest game. NHL.com lets you listen to every game live. Get breaking news, real-time scores, and the hottest video clips. Play fantasy hockey, check super detailed stats, and interact with other fans From anywhere in the world. The NHL.com network gives you access to every team site. Customize your favorite team jersey and get cool NHL merchandise.
Sir, you ordered this?
Sure did. Cool.
NHL.com. If it's hockey, it's here.
ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night is brought to you by Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken. And by Saturn, now with 2 distinctively different car lines, the L Series and the S Series. 2 periods complete. New York Islanders battling the Philadelphia Flyers. Flyers lead it by a score of 3-2. Welcome back here to the Nassau Coliseum. I'm Zdeno Chara, and this is Mark Recchi.
You're not standing on anything, are you?
No, I'm not.
It's unbelievable how tall you are.
No, it's actually unbelievable how short you are. But let's talk a little bit about the New York Islanders. A lot of reasons, not to compete as hard as they did in the first 2 periods.
You can stand up.
No, this is all right. I saw Mario Lemieux do this for an entire interview with you on the ice. Well, didn't Keith Primo say something to you about the height?
Now you know what it's like when I face off with Zdeno Chara. I know what it's like when you're talking to me.
New York Islanders, though, competing very hard here in spite of the fact that, their season really has no place to go. They have lost 4 times to this Philadelphia squad, and they regrouped after a first period where they didn't compete that hard, Darren.
No, they really did not. And they're playing for their locker room right now. They're playing for some pride right now. And certainly they had to do a better job than what they did in the first period. And it wouldn't surprise me if one of the veterans that they have in that locker room stood up and said something. Because the young guys, good chance there, shot wide. Oh, good pressure by the Philadelphia Flyers.
The big line again, and there is Van Beesbroek with that right pad down on the ice. I don't know if that was a shot or if the puck just hit off of Primo and came back toward the Islander goal.
I tell you, every time they're on the ice, no one's touched them. They're having fun. I mean, they are freewheeling. You know, that term, keep your head on a swivel. I think that's been John Van Beesbroek watching them pass in front of the net. To his left, to his right, to his left, to his right. And they might want to do themselves a favor and just fire the puck because they're getting so much time that they have the ability here from the Southwest Airlines goal cam to see Van Beesbroek go from his right now back to his left. Now in a position, now he's going to get the right pad on it, and he did too. It was a pass across, hit his skate, and he got his pad on it.
Van Beesbroek showing us the good flexibility there at the tender age of 37.
Well, John Van Beesbroek is an interesting story, and I want to stick with him for just a second because it wasn't about a month ago that Mike Milbury went to John Van Beesbroek and asked him, if there's a contending team out there that needs help, would you want to go? And he analyzed the situation. He took several days to think about it before saying, you know what? I'm going to stick it out here. We wanted to finish something here in Long Island, and I'm not going to bail out on it just yet. I just wonder myself if that hasn't changed a little bit right now. With the injury to Mike Richter in New York, you know that they're going to be searching for someone there to help out John McLean. Kirk McLean, excuse me. And because he's right here and it's close, it wouldn't be that big of a move for the family and the kids. They just stay right here in their place on Long Island.
That'd be interesting. Go back to the team that he started with. Here was Conley now trying to get it into the Flyers zone. It is recovered though by Sikora, sends it across for Richardson.
Well, anyway, John Van Beesbroek and his agent Lloyd Friedland have had discussions with Mike Milbury about a one-year deal for next year. So even if he were to have left this year that he would still come back as a New York Islander next year to help out Rick DiPietro's development.
Well, we had a chance to sit down with General Manager Mike Milbury, and we asked him that very question about having a veteran like John Van Beesbrook in the dressing room.
I really wanted to make sure that John was here while Rick was getting his feet wet, and yet I knew that John, being at the end of his career, had some frustration. I mean, nobody's done any more, tried to do more than John to help this team get out of its funk, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked what any of us have done so far this year. But he was good when I went to him. He was honest about it. He gave it some serious thought. Said, I want to stick around, and that's good news for DiPietro, good news for us.
And you never know too with John Savvy. And oh, what a shot! And he scores!
Way to call it, Panger. Kolnick gets his second goal of the night. And the youngster who played 1 year of junior hockey in Slovakia and then played a couple of years of junior hockey in the Quebec League, which a lot of young European players are doing to get more accustomed to the North American game. He looks very comfortable tonight.
That was a dipper, Dave. There's no doubt about that. From the middle of the ice.
I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. I done said the right thing, but it must have used the wrong line. I've been on the right trail, but I must have used the wrong car. I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. My head is in a bad place, but I'm having such a good time.
We didn't have to offer side impact airbags on all our new Saturns. We didn't have to make those airbags the kind that are designed to help protect your head, just like the ones that come in Mercedes and Volvo. We didn't have to. That said, we did.
South to south pit, stroke, check, check.
Don't waste your life in front of the copier. Make copies from your computer. Toshiba. Don't copy. Lead.
Wendy's announces our honey ham and chicken sandwich is back with its whole breast filet, creamy Dijon, and honey ham. And you can thank Dave if you ever see him again. Wendy's honey ham and chicken. It's all the buzz.
The Sprint 1000 anytime. You get 1,000 minutes of state-to-state long distance for just $40 a month. No time restrictions, no constraints, no brainer. That's the power to live smart. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP.
Welcome back to ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night. The Veterans Memorial Coliseum, home of the New York Islanders. The Islanders facing the Philadelphia Flyers, the third straight Islanders home game featuring the Flyers. Due to time constraints, we move ahead to further action. Keith Primo and the Flyers got off to the good start. They had a 3-1 lead in this hockey game at the end of the first period, but the Islanders getting the only goal of the second and the only goal so far here in the third. Have tied things up. Dave Strader, Darren Pang, rest of our National Hockey Night crew. Glad you're with us here on a Thursday night, winding down towards the trade deadline. How about you and I doing a game at Madison Square Garden in New York the day before the trade deadline? That's going to be some fun. We were in New York a couple of years ago at the trade deadline.
Yeah, that'd be rumor central. Toronto would lead in that respect.
Yeah.
But they got to come from somewhere.
Well, you wonder some of the bigger deals will be done by then. Here was Gagne with a chance, and Beesbrook have gotten a piece of that, may have gotten some help as well.
Yeah, but again, their puck movement, how they don't just stay in their lanes. They crisscross so well. They've got such great chemistry. The Flyer line I'm talking about.
And back to the point.
Oh, hit somebody in front.
Yep. That by Bermanis did not miss by much. And he will hustle back after it.
Well, you know, the shift before, Eris Bermanis, he hesitated on a shot to the net, and it cost him. And he went to the boards, and that way he didn't hesitate. I'm sure somebody told him, get the sucker on net. There's traffic there already.
Big hit by Richardson over in front of the Flyer bench. Islanders lifting it back into the Flyer zone. Here's McGillis on it. P.J. Stock, right wing side. Number 44 for the Flyers. Sends it in deep. Van Beesbrook got a piece of it. Oh, Rourke shoved into the boards there.
No, he fell over him.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it looked like he lost his balance.
And the Islanders getting it to the McGillis. Held it off of
Maybe a half, and he eluded the goaltender. So it's been an interesting night of goals and fantastic offensive plays, mostly by the Keith Primo line of the Philadelphia Flyers. But the youngster Kolnick's had a real good hockey game here.
Yes, he has.
And so is his line.
6 games since being recalled from the minors, and now has 3 goals in those 6 games.
You bet. He's a scorer, so when you come up here, you better score. But he's playing with Isbister and Krog, and that's been a very good line.
Just reached the halfway mark of this 3rd period. Petmonic settling that puck down. Terrian now for Primo. Gagne to Recchi. Recchi now to LaPointe, but going against LaPointe, backhands it right through the crease. Well, Recchi's so quick with the hands and feet. And that was a 2-line pass. 9:43 remaining here in the 3rd period. Kolnick's 2nd goal of the night has tied this game at 3.
After over 10 years, we still have a no-hassle, no-haggle pricing policy at Saturn. We don't yell offers from the highest tree. We don't play games. And we don't have promotions every other week. But that doesn't mean we don't compete.
Lease a 2001 Saturn SL1 for $199 a month for 39 months with 0 due at lease signing. For lease
Wonder how we got those amazing camera angles in NBA Shootout 2001? We tested out a sophisticated camera system with Chris Webber. Considering the little guy weighed 75 pounds, Chris had a pretty good game.
Rated E for everyone.
Thanks.
Post your resume now. Monster.com. You the monster.
Welcome back. Billy McCall usually plays on the right side with Scatchard and Pyatt for this New York Islanders squad. Interestingly enough, in the 1st period, he's only played 8:39 basically in this hockey game. And he played in the 1st period 5:31, so only 3 minutes in that 2nd period. And he's finding the bench in this hockey game.
Mason Krog hit with a bit of an elbow as the defenseman McAllister went back in for the icing call.
Head coach Butch Goring was also discussing some defensive strategy, it looked like to me, in that last commercial break. And so for all you know, Squirt and Pee Wee and Bantam hockey players, when those coaches pull out the old that here in the National Hockey League as well. Here's Butch Goring looking at Mark Lawrence and trying to get obviously focused in on them. So whether that's defensively in the slot or offensively, you know, I'm not quite certain. They don't have the show us what end that is, but I mean, if it's their own end, it's a good idea to cover that slot because it has been wide open. And if it's the offensive end, it's always a good area to be as well.
Blake trying to stick handle across the line, had it knocked away, but Hammerlick recovered. Now Blake in the corner, rolls it to the far side. County has it there, chops it back for Blake. Hit by Hammerlick, and he's going to be called for the penalty. Roman Hammerlick came in and put the hit on P.J. Stock.
Boy, I thought this is just my opinion. I thought he got him with a shoulder to shoulder. I thought he waited till he was turned and didn't go right at him. The referee, though, Mark Fawcett, was in the neutral zone. He was kind of the back end referee, and so he obviously had a good look shoulder to shoulder or back to back. Roman Hammerlick in a key. I don't know if it's frustration with the referees or the decision by Roman. I'm not quite sure. But Billy Barber's now got a key power play here, as his power play is 16th in the National Hockey League. Well, the hit had already taken place there on P.J. Stock by Roman Hammerlick. We should tell Dan McGillis to get out of the way when we're trying to get a shot like that.
Now they call it roughing, not boarding, so it was on the hit.
Correction on the penalty, 2 minutes for boarding. That's number 4, Hammerlick.
Well, now they've corrected it here. It was boarding, okay? Well, it doesn't really matter what they call it. It is 2 minutes against Roman Hammerlick, and the Islanders shorthanded. And the Flyers go to work. You see 0 for 3 on their power play so far. Just one shot, one scoring chance. And Beesbrook hard around the glass with it. Desjardins along the boards now for Recchi. Recchi snaps it across for McGillis. Back to Desjardins on the right point. He tees it up. Van Beesbrook the save. Big rebound.
Oh, I think he did that on purpose.
Yes, he did.
You know, he saw the opening right there, right in the middle of the ice. Punched it out there.
Nice chance here. Check Monic the save on Tim Conley. Boy, he made a move and got some leverage on that wrist shot, did he not?
And went up high a little bit, too. That's a good play.
Desjardins roasting it around the boards for this Flyer power play, but it's chipped by Mason Blake back into the Flyers zone. Check Monic way out to handle the puck.
Not his strength.
Now Gagne pinned to the boards, and Chara able to get there. Backhands it down the ice. Here comes Check Monic again. Lays it off the boards. Recchi able to get it to Damon Langkow.
Oh, nice move by Damon Langkow, getting it first by Blake and then Tchaikovsky.
He'll carry it into the Islander zone. Recchi drops it back. Secor. Nice job.
With his foot again. That same guy. We showed that in the second period. Good footwork.
Show a soccer player in his youth. Here is Terry until the net. That was well wide of Van Beesbrook. Now Secor moves in again. It deflects out to Langkow. Terry and one-timer on the way. That sailed wide. P.J. Stock getting some power play time and being worked over in front of the net. Now the Islanders come out with it.
Dirty job. Somebody's got to really be in front of that net. You take a beating when you're in there. The speed. Here comes Ranheim setting up shop.
Excellent penalty kill by the Islanders. Langkow with it. Hammerlick is out of the box. Now Jody Hull in the corner. Ranheim has it again. Don't forget, this is the first game of a National Hockey Night doubleheader on ESPN2. Calgary playing to the LA Kings. Western Conference battle between two teams right now on the outside of the playoff picture. Both trying to gain on the top 8 teams. A little bit of a takedown there. Manus may have gotten away with, and now Van Beesbrook behind the net.
Good play.
Tried to get it to Hammerlick. It went over his stick. McGillis holding it in. Here comes McGillis with it. Pulls up. One hands it now. He's trying to set it up in front of Van Beesbrook. And Vanderbilt couldn't handle the pass. Richardson back to touch up for the icing call.
Well, the folks were a little slow getting into the building for tonight's hockey game, and there's a good reason for that. Here in the Long Island area, a little bit of snow, good old hockey weather here in New York.
They've got his style. They've got his moves. They've got a plan. Kurt Russell. Let's do it. Kevin Costner. 3,000 Miles to Graceland. Rated R. Now playing.
Hey, Mr. Toolbelt, why don't you change your oil every 3,000 miles? And remember, women know when you lie. Look, missing an oil change is like giving a woman a vacuum cleaner for her birthday. You know better. Come on, consider the risk. This is reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. Can you say insurance? Because I could say I told you so. Reformulated Quaker State. It's been tested. It works. What more do you need to know?
We didn't have to offer side impact airbags on all our new Saturns. We didn't have to make those airbags the kind that are designed to help protect your head, just like the ones that come in Mercedes and Volvo. We didn't have to. That said, we did.
South to south pit. Stroke. Check. Check.
I am the king of la salsa.
Chico.
I don't know who Chico is, but if that's who's 1-800-CALL ATT for collect calls, you can save big bucks. 1-800-CALL-ATT.
Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. I done said the right thing, but it must have used the wrong line. I've been on the right trail, but I must have used the wrong car. I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. My head is in a bad place, but I'm having such a good time.
Welcome back to ESPN2's coverage of National Hockey Night. The Veterans Memorial Coliseum, home of the New York Islanders. The Islanders facing the Philadelphia Flyers, the third straight Islanders home game featuring the Flyers. Due to time constraints, we move ahead to further action. Well, that's great news that Marian Hossa is okay and back playing. NHL tonight, Don Butcherground, Barry Melrose. Long night for them following the second game of our doubleheader. Fallout from the Blake trade. Should visors be mandatory, and highlights from the Sabres playing in New Jersey in a big Eastern Conference showdown. Now the face-off here in the Islanders zone with 4:45 remaining in regulation, and I think we can start to talk about the time remaining as regulation time in this 3-3 game as it comes back to Gagne. Sends it along the board, Van Beesbroek. Remember, Van Beesbroek made 2 or 3 saves when it was a 3-1 game, also when it was 3-2. Have responded. Here's Therrien. Quick shot back for the Islander net was wide. And that closed the point. Puts it back through center ice. Therrien is there. Clears it back. Gagne. Trying to make a move. Chara stepped up. Had it only momentarily. And Therrien dumps it in. We're at the Nassau Coliseum here in Uniondale, Long Island, New York. Dave Strader, Darren Pang, and the rest of our ESPN2 crew. Luckily, we don't have to travel very far in the snow tonight. Kenny Johnson knocking it down for the Islander defense. Plays it ahead. Richardson bobbled it. Tchaikovsky sends it in deep. And it's Vanderbilt handing it off in deep now for Jody Hull. Romanis, number 32 for the Islanders, stays on him. Tchaikovsky out there now with Conley and Pyatt. I don't think we've seen Billy McCult at all here in this third period.
No, we definitely have not. He's riding the pines, as they say. I don't know if it's a health problem, but it doesn't look like that's the case. He looks like a frustrated camper sitting on that bench.
Yeah, he does. And he's a scorer. He's a guy that they could use in a situation like this. But if it's not a health problem, as you mentioned, Darren, obviously Coach Butch Boring with his reasons to make a point. And Sikora from behind his own net. 3 minutes left in regulation time. Yermont plays it ahead. Krog could not get that deep as he wanted to. Lankow tried to clear, held in Hammerlich. His shot. And sails wide is Bister back to the front of the net. A chance here. Kolnick looking for the hat trick. He had it on his stick. And just couldn't quite pull the trigger. Bister trying to go behind the net to Krog. It's intercepted on Sikora with the high flip. Forcing Buron to back up as Bister dumps it back into the Flyer zone.
And action, no stoppages of play.
No, it's been that way
on the fly.
Yep.
And last time the Primo line switched, now they're back on. 3 lines have been on there. So this is where you have to have good communication on the bench to make sure there's no too many men on the ice and keep guys going.
Here's Gagne, tried to shoot it to the crowd in front of the net. Primo is there. Now Gagne behind the net being tied up by Chara. Chara goes down on one. Puck comes free. Janssen has it for the Islanders. They started back the other way. Scatchard puts it back into the Flyers zone. McGill intercepted. A chance for Lawrence. Checkman off the save. Scatchard with a chance, and that hit a leg. Oh, Mark Lawrence looking at perhaps the winning goal on his stick. There's less than 2 minutes remaining in this one. Whoa.
Scatchard, Gagne, and Recchi doing some stick work as they're going for a line change as well. Maybe some frustration from Scatchard. He was looking at a 6x4 empty net there and blocked in front of the net. He stayed in the zone, actually, thinking they were going to keep it in. And Philadelphia had actually got control of the puck and left their zone.
Here is Terrian back deep in his own zone. Flyers look to come out with it. Here comes Ranheim. Trying to go wide. Romanis played him well.
Good one-on-one play by Romanis.
That goes off the skate of Hyatt. It's picked up by Jody Hull. Cherkowski comes back to help out. It goes to the point. Terrian tees it up for a drive. Van Beesbrook the save. Hull goes back to Terrian again. Another chance. This one deflected behind the goal. Jody Hull centering pass. Vanderbilt was dumped to the ice. They're trying to keep the pressure on. Jody Hull was checked hard.
Good shift from this Manderville line with Jody Hull.
Looking down to a half a minute remaining here in regulation time. PJ Stock with it for the Flyers. Gets it back to the point. Terrian shot steered aside by Van Beesbrook. PJ Stock goes over, puts a big hit on the Islander defenseman Bizet. And it comes back out to Cherkowski. And he put it into the Flyer zone. Couldn't make a play. He was at the end of his shift. And Richardson puts it back into the Islander zone. Is this going to be an icy call? No, because Langkow.
Good hustle by Langkow. Good read, too. You know, he got a head start on it. The minute he knew the puck was going to be dumped in, he's such a good skater. He just flew to nullify the icing attempt. Good work by Damon Langkow that's got himself on an 8-game point streak with a goal and 7 helpers. In the meantime, the quick scoring led New York Islanders. Dave had a couple of glorious chances.
For the period, but the Islanders with one of the second, one of the third. We're going to overtime.
All right, boys, card.
I'm gonna.
Must have something, boys.
Fuck. Hey, don't you know about 10-10-220?
What? Yeah, man, 10-10-220. All calls up to 20 minutes. 99 cents.
Just 7 cents a minute after that.
All calls up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents?
See, a buck is worth a lot.
I'm out.
Me too. I call you.
Do you have any fives?
Go fish.
Dial 10-10-220.
Hey, we're here with 2-time Stanley Cup winner Martin Brodeur. Martin, you are the man. Oh, man, nice threads. CCM hockey wear. All the stars are wearing them. Can I try on the jersey? The cap? Trade ya.
CCM authentic hockey wear. If the cap fits, wear it.
Hey, you can win tickets to a Stanley Cup Finals game and hang with the cup. Sweet! Enter the CCM Celebrate with the Cup contest of participating retailers.
Oven toasting brings out the taste.
Quiznos subs are toasted for mouth-watering flavors. Try our smoked turkey sub. Quiznos, oven toasted tastes better.
Basketball teams often paint their logo in the middle of the court. Seemed like just the thing for 7-Up. They get started a little soon.
Today, we are celebrating a milestone. We showed a profit. Because of that, we are being funded an additional $20 million. One stipulation. We need to extend our infrastructure to Hong Kong, Tokyo, and Singapore, and do it in 90 days. What?
And that's when it hits you. You are so ready for IBM.
Welcome back to the Nassau Coliseum. We are going to overtime.
And one of the main reasons why is this attempt here in front of the net. The youngster, Kolnick, has 2 goals. He took the pass, and he just bobbled it, just a slight hesitation. Then Lawrence had a good chance, was probably surprised by Roman Cechmanek coming out, and there's the stop by Keith Primo and the empty netter that was there by Dave Scatchard. So first glance, I didn't know that Primo actually got a stick on it. That's a big save there by Primo.
4 skaters aside, the New York Islanders 0-3-5 in 5 previous overtime games. The Flyers, one of the better records in the league, as you see, at 4-1-9. Even strength has been a problem for the Islanders, whether it's been 5-on-5 or 4-on-4. Here's Desjardins, centering attempt, trying to get it through to Primo. Primo has it again. right at the goal line. Centering pass deflects out in front of Van Beesbrook. And it's cleared by the Islanders out to center ice. Isbister couldn't handle it. Hammerlick, though, gets it back to Isbister right wing side. Man on the shot as Terrian steps into him. Here's Kolnick. He has 2 goals. Down to the front of the net. Oh, deflected just wide.
That's a good play by Brad Isbister. He bought some time on the right side for something to happen instead of just firing it blindly. And where therefore there'd be a big turnover like that. Like it was close up.
Boy, it was close up being offside. And here was Langkow overskating the puck. Right there was Gagne. Jose, the defenseman, battling against Langkow.
Jose looks good.
Yes, he does.
I think he's 6'4", 220 pounds, but he's got pretty good mobility.
Cherkasky, he can make that play, but it's dangerous in the neutral zone. Back comes Langkow countering his shot. And hit a leg. It comes back out to the line. Sikora. He drives a shot. And Beesbrook well out the challenge.
Sikora can fire the puck. I said it early in this game, but 23 on the Philadelphia Flyers, it's going to hurt you.
Bedatenko slides it back behind the Flyer net.
Andy Delmore has been the odd man out, though, in the lineup on the blue line for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yep.
Bobby Clark has something up his sleeve here.
Bedatenko now on the rush, going wide. Now Romanis takes it around behind the Islander goal. Romanis just rides him right to the corner boards. Mark Lawrence trying to dig it out of there. Hull gets it out, though, for the Flyers. It comes down to McGillis. A little backhand pass to Jody Hull. He fanned on it. And back comes Jason Blake. Doesn't have the helmet on. Drops it off. Here's a shot high up on the glass behind Czechmonic. Huron held it in. And it's cleared by the Flyers' Desjardins. They were making a change, so nobody wanted to touch that puck, fearful of too many men on the ice. Like it, Kenny Janssen. Here comes Blake again. Blake going wide on Desjardins. Backhand shot. Czechmonic took that away low.
Went on the boards and all sticks were down. Did you notice that? I mean, the Flyer players recognize he's got no helmet like that. And I like that.
We're talking NHL tonight whether visor should be mandatory. Here's a pass out in front. A glove save by Van Beesbrook.
And I'm not sure, but Keith Primo, it looked like he hit Blake with his stick, just as I had mentioned that, with Jason Blake without his helmet. And it was a collision right in the slot just before Primo had that shot. So the effects of some lumber. And one thing about Primo, he uses an all-wood stick. And there's a hook there, and he came around with a stick.
All right,
yeah. Just the follow-through. I mean, a little careless action with a stick like that, Primo was, even though he was hooked down to begin with. Here's the save by John Van Beesbrook. Watch the left glove. There it is. And there's the save by John Van Beesbrook, and I looked like he wanted to play the puck, but he ran into a Flyer player right in front of him.
Flyers are trying to sweep this season series, and the last time they swept a series of 5 or more games was back in '84-85 when they were 7-0 against a New York Ranger team that featured John Van Beesbrook in goal.
Well, you can tie it all in a nice little package, David.
Here's Gagne. Langkow is Isbister battling him behind the Islander goal. Minute 40 left here in this overtime period. Langkow gives it back. Terrian winds up, drives a shot. Van Beesbrook good stop there. And as we showed you with highlights earlier tonight, Ottawa, their game, the Flyers battling for every point they can get. Gagne gets away with a hook and creates a 2-on-1 potentially. Langkow, a shot fired it wide. Boy, wow. Chara was hooked right over the shoulder by Gagne.
I guess he was. He just missed on the far side, too. That one, I think that had Van Beesbrook beat low to the stick side. It went wide.
Chara and Richardson battle. Here comes Ricky, and Ricky with it. Makes a move, and he lost good puck. Here comes Cherkasky. He blasts the shot, missed the net. And boy, you missed the net from that angle. A lot of times the puck will go all here in this overtime period. Langkow gives it back. Terrian winds up, drives a shot. Van Beesbrook good stop there. And as we showed you with highlights earlier tonight, Ottawa leading their game against Florida. And the Flyers battling for every point they can get. Gagne gets away with a hook and creates a 2-on-1 potentially. Langkow, a shot fired it wide. Boy, wow. Chara was hooked right over the shoulder by Gagne.
I guess he was. Just missed on the far side, too. That one, I think that had Van Beesbrook beat. Low to the stick side. It went wide.
Tyler and Richardson battle. Here comes Recchi under it. Mark Recchi with it. Makes a move against Johnson. Pokes it to the corner for Primo. Primo one-hands it behind the net. He'll pick it up there himself. Recchi setting a pick. Primo wanted to come out in front of the forehand. He lost control of the puck. Here comes Cherkowski. He blasts a shot, missed the net. And boy, you missed the net from that angle. A lot of times the puck will go all the way out to center ice. And Recchi picks it up. The pass broken up by Hammerlick. He's got Cherkowski back the other way. Snapshot and a save. Tekmonik with a half a minute left in overtime. And Conley knocks it away for Cherkowski again. Here comes Tim Conley with it. Conley with it. High short side opportunity. Off the shoulder of Tekmonik. Centering pass. Hammerlick scores! Roman Hammerlick in overtime. The first time the Islanders have won a game this season when trailing after 2 periods. They were 0-30 and Butch Goring showing that he still has some heart and pride in winning hockey games in the National Hockey League. No question about that.
Well, they had a couple of golden opportunities, and this was a good, gritty effort by the New York Islanders, a team that trailed 3-1, and even though you're at the bottom of the standings, somewhat gratifying for a 64.5-minute hockey game, 65-minute game, and from Roman Hammerlick, this guy creates offensive opportunities. I like Roman Hammerlick. And I tell you, this play by Connolly on the short side was stopped. Tekmonik made some real good saves. Connolly waited for Hammerlick to jump into the play, and that's a smart, calm play by Connolly to wait. And this shot went through Roman Tekmonik and in the net.
And again, how about the saves Van Beesbrook made when it was 3-1 and 3-2? And Hammerlick reading the play, jumped in there.
Yeah, Cherkowski's stick was there as well, right in front. But you're right about that. Van Beesbrook made some saves in that second period. They were able to mount a little bit of sustained pressure.
So the Islanders win it in overtime on the goal by Hammerlick by a final score of 4-3.